Hi, good morning all. So in the previous session, we have seen how cloud computing has helped a small business, to run effectively by reducing its operation cost. Now in this session, we're going to understand some of the key concepts of the cloud computing. So starting with the high availability. So what this means is the ability of the services to have a minimum downtime or with a very little downtime depending on the service in the question. So this talks about how long the service can run or to service the end user or the customer. Second thing which we're talking about is the scalability. So when we say scalability, so there are two concepts around it. So consider a system which is overloaded. Now in order to mitigate this overload, how will come out? So there are two different varieties or categories out of it. One is called as scaling out. When we say scaling out, it means that we are putting a parallel server next to the already overloaded server and distribute 50% load of the overloaded server into the newly configured server. So this type of scaling will continue to continue in numbers from 1 to 10 or whatever it is based on the configuration of the computing services. So this scaling out is called as horizontal scaling. Sometimes this is also called as horizontal scaling. Now another concept, okay, which is called as vertical scaling. In the vertical scaling, what we do, we increase the capacity of the server. If a server is having 10 GB of RAM, we'll add 2 GB of RAM to mitigate the overload, and subsequently we'll add. So this is the another name of the scaling up is called as vertical scaling. So if you compare both the type of scaling, that is scaling out, which is horizontal scaling, and scaling up, which is vertical scaling, we see that there is some platform limitation in terms of vertical scaling, but the horizontal, when we compare it with the horizontal scaling, we see it can scale unlimitedly. Okay, so and the scaling does not have to be done automatically. So here comes with another concept of the cloud computing, which is called elasticity. So when the scalability, so think of the elasticity as you are holding a rubber in your finger and you're stretching it out and stretching it in. So uh, so the when we so when the increase or decrease of the resources is done automatically or dynamically, that is nothing but elasticity. Now next concepts comes like we have agility in question. So the ability to, obviously agility is the ability to react quickly. So how your cloud react in case of any external event, and what is the method of allocation and deallocation. Is it require a lot of time in allocation of the resources and deallocation, or is it very quick? So as far as the cloud is concerned, it's very quick in terms of allocation and deallocation. They are provided on demand and on the self-service basis. So there is no manual intervention in provisioning or deprovisioning of the resources. Once the request has been put, so it will go and execute and give you the ready resources at the completion of the order. Next comes is the fault tolerance. So when we talk about the fault tolerance is the ability of the system, okay, how to handle in case of any fault happen inside the system. In the so the this is a basic question, this is general question. So we have, in order to handle this, we have redundancy in every cloud and Azure in general. So redundancy is built into the cloud service architecture. So if one of the component fails, a backup component takes its place. So the type of the service is said to be fault tolerant. Okay, another. So now going next, we have another concept of the disaster recovery. So when we say disaster recovery, so this talks about the ability to recover from an event which has taken down a cloud service. Okay, so we can explain it like other way, like cloud service disaster recovery can happen very quickly with automations or with manual intervention. So the facility of disaster recovery and the infrastructure that supports the complete failover and failback from the disaster site is there available in the cloud. Thanks. Also we'll go and we'll have a next session of it.